If you are excited for the real return of Cowboys football, week 1 just around the corner, Sunday Night Football, then like the video for me right now. We're about to break down the Cowboys' officially unofficial depth chart, but if you're hyped that football's back, like the video right now. Now, the Cowboys have released their depth chart for week 1. This is the official depth chart from the team, but is also still unofficial because that's how it tends to work. It's kind of weird. I think a few of the questions we have about mostly the depth, how it could all rotate out, have been answered. Now, the Cowboys won't really adjust this depth chart beyond week 1 except for injuries, so this might be the last time we visit it, but there are some notable takeaways that I wanted to get into, and then we'll break down all the depth charts we didn't discuss leading into it. First takeaway, Trey Lance, as expected, is quarterback 3. I know there'd been some, Lance going to take Dak's job this year from talking heads, and maybe Lance steals the backup job from Cooper Rush, which could happen, but that's still months away, I suspect. It does go in order: Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, and Trey Lance. The NFL has changed their rules. You can have your third quarterback active as the emergency quarterback. Does not count against the roster limits, but they can only play if the first 2 guys get hurt. So they cannot cheat and say, he's our third quarterback and bring him in for a package. He can only play if Dak and if Rush both go down. Simply put, Lance is not ready to be the backup. He's only been in town for a couple weeks at this point. It's going to take some more time for Lance to fully master the offense. Jerry was not lying when he said he doesn't want to see Trey Lance play this year. Hopefully that ends up being the case, but that does still remain to be seen. So Lance will be active on game days, but he won't be playing outside of injuries to at least start the season. Now, who ends the year as quarterback 2 is a different conversation. Who do you think it ends up being? Type in TL for Trey Lance or CR for Cooper Rush. That's going to be today's pinned comment, by the way. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Takeaway number 2 is Peyton Hendershot is tight end 2 for this Dallas Cowboys team. No surprise, Jake Ferguson listed as the starter. That was expected. Hendershot's tight end 2, Luke Schoonmaker tight end 3. By the way, you'll see the lack of IR guys. It wasn't on the Cowboys depth chart. We'll use it for our purposes because I think that matters, but we're just matching what the Cowboys put out. So you won't see John Stevens or Josh Ball or even Deshaun Wright on their respective groupings there. I could easily see, even in the first game, a rotation at tight end 2 in terms of who gets the reps, probably alongside Jake Ferguson, who's going to be your starter. Could come down to what particular package play call you're utilizing. I think Schoonmaker is a better blocker right now. He has more athletic and maybe even passing upside than Hendershot, but Hendershot is a better pass catcher at this point when he's not dropping passes, by the way. Hendershot, by the way, was kind of on the bubble. If John Stevens had stayed healthy, I would not have been shocked if it ended up being Stevens who made the roster over Hendershot. Maybe they would have carried 4 tight ends in that scenario, and maybe someone like Jalen Brooks would have been released or whatever. But Hendershot was kind of on the bubble before that unfortunate torn ACL for Stevens. Now he's at least listed as tight end 2 for the Dallas Cowboys. Curious of the snap counts and what the situational snap counts looks like for Schoonmaker and Hendershot in week 1 and beyond. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, and comedy and theater and everything else in between near you guys. They have killer deals on last-minute tickets, and they have a best price guarantee. I love it. Helps me stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have instead. I have a 2-year-old at home. I am not good about planning necessarily. Is the babysitter going to be there? Whatever. Game Time makes it easy with flash deals and last-minute tickets. They have the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. They got you covered to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. It is the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. You can get images of your seat before you buy. You can even turn the phone a little bit, so it's kind of like a live photo. you go to this version on the app here, you can turn that photo left, turn it right, and it'll give you some alternate views, kind of like a live photo does it. It's fantastic there. You can buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you are set. And tickets, by the way, are set directly to your phone, so you never have to deal with digging your email, finding it, whatever. You can get $20 off your first purchase by using promo code CowboysChat once you download the Game Time app at gametime.co. Head to the redeem code section of the app, plug in Cowboys Chat, boom, they're going to get you that $20 off. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but go create that account, redeem code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, the lowest price, all guaranteed. Link and promo code are in the comment section and the description of today's show. Back to some depth chart takeaways. Number 3, the left guard backup, which is noteworthy in light of the Tyler Smith hamstring strain. We will see if he plays or does not play. The offensive line depth chart. By the way, I think we'll know if Smith's going to play earlier on, and I'll mention this in the second video later on today. The Cowboys promote a player from the practice squad for the offensive line. That means he might not play. We'll know more as the week goes on. What is noteworthy here is a couple things beyond even just the left guard backup. Asim Richards listed there. TJ Bass listed at right guard. Now, I do think Bass could play left guard. He's only played right guard for the Cowboys, but he was a left side player at Oregon. Chuma Edoga, meanwhile, listed as the swing tackle at both left tackle and at right tackle, despite not having played in the preseason. I am worried about the offensive line depth. We all have been worried about the offensive line depth for months. And you're not even into game 1, and you're already kind of going like, oh, God, what if Tyler Smith can't play? I don't want to face Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams and Don Wink Martindale with either a UDFA left guard or a 5th-round pick at left guard. That concerns me. That scares me. So hopefully Tyler Smith is out there and healthy and playing. What is your confidence level in the offensive line? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. It is 1 on the high end, or on the low end, 10 on the high end. Takeaway number 4, we're going to group some stuff together here. The defensive line grouping, both your defensive tackles and your defensive ends, which is maybe more impactful from that perspective. At DT, Osa Odighizuwa, no surprise there, and Johnathan Hankins as your starters. I would fully expect a heavy rotation of Hankins and Mazi Smith, maybe even close to a 50-50 split in some run packages. They'll both be out there. With the veteran ahead of Mazi, I'm going to put Mazi in there because it's more fun, but Hankins over him isn't a huge surprise. Neville Gallimore over Chauncey Golston at kind of the backup behind Osa Odighizuwa. Maybe one of those guys is a scratch, but I bet they both play against the Giants. Gallimore over Golston, though, is noteworthy. Gallimore had a much better preseason camp this year than what he did last year. It's why he stuck around. The pay cut helped a little bit as well. All right, defensive ends. No Micah Parsons. We're going to come back to that more in depth in a minute here. So it's DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams, Dante Fournier, Junior Fehoko. Also in there. I bet he's a scratch in week 1. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not. But he was mostly playing some edge rusher in the preseason. He'll kind of be a flex piece, I think, up there. So I'm betting let's talk about Micah here then, who's not listed on the defensive end depth chart. Instead, is listed at linebacker with no Marquise Bell at that position grouping. Now, okay, that's fine. We also know how the Cowboys are actually going to utilize their linebackers. They listed as Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, Damone Clark, Devin Harper. We can get into the semantics of the position labeling if we want to, but the reality is that Micah Parsons is a pass rusher. That is what he does best. That is how he impacts the game the most. Now, if you want to get into minutia, if you move him around, that's fine. Please continue to do so. Blitz him from other spots, bring him from other spots. That's okay. He's a pass rusher. You're not making the best decision with Micah if you're not bringing him as a rusher on the vast majority of his snaps. That is what we will see happen in week 1 of the NFL season, which we will be alive for. The Cowboys-Giants watch party will get going an hour before kickoff. Make sure you guys are subscribed, youtube.com/CowboysTV. We will be live for the entirety of the game, our post-game show as well, having a blast on Sunday Night Football. All right, the other depth charts, nothing overly shocking. I just want to mention them briefly. RBs went as we expected. Pollard, Dowdle, our King, Deuce Vaughn, Hunter Lipke. Wide receivers, I think the way to read this, instead of like top down, Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, Brooks, Turpin, Tolbert, is kind of do it as like a snake version. I think that's how the Cowboys actually did it. Because Brooks is not wide receiver 4, like it would suggest when he's the top backup to Lamb. It's more Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, then Tolbert, Turpin, Brooks, kind of snake order, which is kind of true for corner as well, at least at CB1, CB2. Diggs, Gilmore, and maybe it is just full left to right. Bland and Lewis were your nickels. That makes sense. Lewis, if he's healthy, I don't know if he's going to be. We'll know more again when the first injury report comes out later today. We'll have a video on it. Lewis is CB4, and then I think Scott over Igbinoghene for now, knowing that Noah's going to need a little bit of time. He also might be a scratch. But if Lewis is out, maybe Igbinoghene's pulled up. Who knows? All right, folks, predict the score of the Cowboys against the Giants. Sound off for me in the comments section your score prediction right now. All right, safeties. This is also interesting because they went 3. They listed 3 starters. The 3 starters make sense. Jaron Kearse, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker. Backups are Israel Mukwamu. There's Marquise Bell. Then Wanye Thomas. I would not be shocked if all 6 were active, and I would not be shocked if they do play significant roles, especially if Dono can't go in week 1. Finally, special teams. Nothing surprising here. Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, Trent Sig. Kevontae Turpin's your top return man. Deuce Vaughn listed as the backup at both spots, which is what the Cowboys predominantly did in the preseason. You could see Rico Dowdle maybe get some run there, but the special teams was as expected for the Cowboys.